Patch 8.11 is right around the corner, so I thought why not talk about it, especially since this is quite a massive patch similar to the one a while ago with the whole controller class being tweaked, but this time it's with the duelist. First off, we have ISO. As we all know, he is one of the weakest agents in the game right now, so this buff is really necessary. His double tap ability is the thing that got changed quite a bit. You will now be able to generate a shield before you even kill someone, which is so useful, especially if you want to absorb and operate a shot. It also gives him an advantage in his ult, as he could just equip this shield before ulting to give him a much higher chance of winning his duel. The charges of this ability have been reduced though, but it's refreshable after getting 2 kills just like the other duelists. He will now also be slowed a bit less when his shield breaks, which is a small but meaningful change to improve him a bit. There will now be a damage indicator when his shield is broken to help you detect enemies a bit faster and know where they're coming from. Also, the shield duration now automatically refreshes when you kill someone, so you don't have to shoot the orb that pops out. Keep in mind that this only applies if you still have your shield on when you kill an enemy. If your shield is broken when you kill the enemy, you still have to shoot the orb to get it back again. A Valorant dev stated that the team still wants to keep this aspect of ISO cause it's integral to its identity, but they decided to give the ability a bit more flexibility. So that's it for the ISO buffs, and I like what they did for him. They made him a bit better in taking first engagements, which is an important aspect of a duelist. However, I don't think it's enough to make him an attractive option for pro players, cause the meta over there tends to favor movement duelists that can get through a choke point much easier than ISO can. But he definitely will be much better in ranked right now, cause his self-sufficient kit has been improved, which is a good thing for competitive, as there is less coordination when compared to pro play and is a bit more focused on individual performances. However, I can still see him getting picked as a secondary duelist in pro play cause he is a bit more useful now, but I still think he won't be picked that much in the pro scene. Moving on, we have Neon, who is the biggest part of this patch. First off, her wall ability now dissipates from behind instead of completely disappearing at once, which will help both Neon and her teammates. This is because it allows players to be less exposed when they follow Neon, as the wall will disappear gradually from behind instead of it just dropping at once. This gives the defenders a harder job now cause they will not only have to worry about Neon but also her teammates, which is why I think this is a good change as it encourages more synergy with teammates. The total time the wall stays up has decreased by 2 seconds though, but I think overall it's still sort of a buff cause Neon and her teammates have a bit more security as the wall drops differently and leaves you less exposed. Her sprint has been greatly improved as well, with her fuel regeneration only taking 20 seconds now as opposed to the previous 60 seconds. This could be really helpful in constant rotates and helps a ton in the movement across the map, as you can access the movement ability for a much longer duration. Her speed when moving sideways has increased from 6.73 meters per second to 9.11 meters per second. This is great as it just improves your mobility and can help in throwing off your enemy's crosshair placement. Her slide charges have been increased, which is so important as it's her signature ability. It's also been confirmed that Neon will be able to slide once and slide almost instantly after that with only a 1 to 2 second short delay. This is great as it helps her close the distance much faster and easier. Because of this, I bet you will see tons of Neon sliding into you with their shotguns, and that's going to be painful. She also no longer has any movement error when sliding, which means it will be as accurate as when you stand still to shoot someone. That is certainly a buff. But of course, you still will have to aim normally to kill someone, so it's not completely a freebie. It's just much more accurate right now. The gun equip time after sliding has been massively reduced to 0.2 seconds, so it's almost instantaneous. Another big way to help Neon's main movement ability, and why I said shotguns are going to be even better with her. You will get one slide for free since it's her signature ability, but you have to buy the other one for 150 credits. The relay bolt is getting tweaked as well, and it's kind of a nerf. She only has one relay bolt right now which can affect her on XX as well as stalling. However, the bolt's wind-up delay is reducing from 1.1 seconds to 0.8 seconds, while the conquer's duration is getting increased by 0.5 seconds, so that is sort of stronger. Overall, I think this will increase Neon's pick rate quite a bit in rank cause she's just much stronger. For pro play, I'm not sure because even with these buffs, the relay bolt nerf could turn more teams away from her as she can now clear less angles, plus her stalling is a bit weaker because of this. Also, there's not much tier 1 VCT left for the rest of the year, so teams might not be as willing to experiment with them right now. Despite some of these setbacks, she is still much better than before, and I think she will become even more popular in ranked, but I have my doubts for the tier 1 pro scene at least for this year. However, there might be a chance that she'll be picked in the other leagues like Game Changers and the Ascension League, as they still have quite a bit of the season left. Next up, we have Reyna, where the goal of the adjustments were to make her a bit more team orientated. Her healing capabilities will be reduced to only 50 HP instead of gaining 100. The heal is faster though, and the overheal doesn't disappear anymore. Overall, it's still a nerf to this ability which will bring her power down a bit, but a player who is clearly better than the rest of the lobby will still have a fun time dominating everyone, just with slightly more difficulty. Her dismiss speed will cover more distance, however it lasts 0.5 seconds less now. This allows her to cover more distance, which is useful for taking more space. Her ult now stays on as long as she's alive, and the intention with this change is to make Reyna play with the team more instead of charging into the fray due to the ult having a time limit in the past. This update to her definitely reduces her ranked power, but I don't think it'll be enough to make her like a decent pick in pro play, because she still has to get a kill to make use of most of her kit, unlike the other duelists who are not as dependent on kills to make their kit work. Raze is going to get a nerf, and that's because she's the most dominant duelist right now. Now her satchels will no longer explode if an enemy destroys them. This can be quite helpful if you have an enemy Raze that is always using them to destroy your utility. Her satchel explosion is also a bit louder now so that you can hear her from a greater distance, but the biggest nerf she actually got was her horizontal velocity getting reduced by 20%. This means you won't be able to satchel as far as before. This stops Raze from pulling off some of her bigger double satchels that could cover quite a bit of distance. I don't think this is enough to completely take her out of the meta because she can still get into the site normally but just can't pull off more of the crazy stuff. The rest of her kit is still quite good, and her satchels can still be used for various purposes like boosting your teammates on different angles and destroying utility. So yeah, Raze is definitely a bit weaker but still quite strong. So yeah, these are the few changes that are coming to the Duelist class in just a few days. I think we will definitely see a lot more Neon in ranked and maybe ISO as well. However, in terms of tier 1 pro play, I don't think we will see much of a change in the meta. This is because Raze is still powerful despite the nerfs, and even though Neon can be argued to be on the same level as some of the top tier duelists right now, I think it's a bit too late in the tier 1 season for teams to make a huge agent change. I'm not saying none will do it, but the majority probably won't. But when it comes to the other pro scenes in Valorant like Ascension and Game Changers, then yeah, I can definitely see those teams experimenting a bit, since they still have quite a bit of the season left. Anyways, what do you guys think of these new agent changes? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below, and with that being said, this has been 236 and Ruben, signing out.